I'm gonna go be gladiator too. I said, why would you go be
For just what TV a finish when tout bel programme ou remis where you n'a put it tout n'est pas quand t'as roulé. For just what TV a finish when politique nous là, belle musique toujours là, couverture tout événement spécial. Entrevue nous là, documentaire toujours là, cinéma à cuisine. Nous t'écoutons commencement qu'on a affaire with la n'est pas quand t'as roulé. For just what TV a finish when nous tout bel programme ou remis where you n'a put it pour n'est pas quand t'as roulé. For just what TV a finish when nous n'est pas quand t'as roulé. For just what TV a finish when nous.
Hello, everybody. I pray that you all are well and blessed in a holla favor. Welcome to the Lady Flint's next installment. Today, I have a treat for you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've been waiting to get him on my show for the longest. You know, I say that about everybody, but I do mean what I say because everybody has different walks of life and we all have our own journeys. So today we're going to be graced today by Pastor C.W. Mays. Yay! Welcome.
Welcome, sis. How are you?
Welcome. I'm blessed.
And highly
favorite.
Like you and everybody else.
Like you and everybody else.
Yes.
Because I want that for everybody.
Yes.
I do. No matter what's going on. But welcome today. I'm so glad that you were able to make it today. So let's get started. As I introduced to you this man of God before, but tell everybody your name, where you're from, and how long you have been pastoring.
Well, good evening, everyone that's tuned in to the Lady Flint show. That just sounds like it should be on national television. I'm Pastor C.W. Mays. I'm the senior pastor of the New Faith Christian Fellowship, located in the beautiful city of West Palm Beach, Florida, 2100 West 45th Street, Suite A1. This is my 25th year in ministry and my 17th year pastoring some of God's greatest people. As a matter of fact, last month we just finished celebrating my 17th year anniversary.
Wow. Amazing. And I had the pleasure of visiting on your anniversary. It was my birthday. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
And I was so blessed to walk in with the birthday song, guys. So it meant so much, and it was awesome. We didn't get out of there until about maybe 3 o'clock.
No,
2 o'clock, 2:30. 2. It seemed like 3. I don't know. And all I know is I was enjoying the spirit. It was good. I thought it was 3 o'clock. It felt like 3 o'clock, but anyway, it was. I'm sorry, but it was good. It really was. So let's start with. Tell us how you started on this journey as far as being a pastor. Was someone in your family a pastor and you saw this and you wanted to do this, or you had this calling on your life before?
Great question. I answer that question probably about 3 times a week. I tried to run from this. I come from a long lineage of pastors. My grandfather, who was my father figure growing up, I was the little boy that traveled with him to the National Baptist conventions when he would finish preaching, and he would set up a table to sell his sermons all over the country. So when I got an adult and I went to college, I just knew that I was going to break that cycle. So I majored in communications. I've had a gift of gab since I was about 12, and I guess I mean, that's why I became a DJ. I majored in communications, TV and radio broadcasting. I had a vision around 12 years old that I used to record my mom's soap operas.
Which ones?
All my children, Days of Our Lives, and General Hospital.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
So right after the soap operas, the news came on. And my mom walked in the door, and she was a 40-year educator, and she would sit in her recliner and watch soap operas that I recorded. And one day I just say, Mommy, I want to be like those people. She says, go for it. So when I went to college, I majored in communications. And fast forward, when I got the call to preach, I was in the Sunset Lounge, formerly known as Club 35, DJing. Lady Flint, I can remember the song that was playing.
What song was it?
Luke Skywalker, It's Your Birthday. And God literally sat in that DJ booth and called me to preach, and I'm like, you play too much, God. You don't see all them women on the dance floor. I can't do that. And for 2 years, I ran from that calling. 2 years later, God came back in that same DJ booth on the same night, around the same time, and asked me, was I ready? And that same night, I quit that club. The next morning, I called my grandfather, who was my pastor, and told him I had just got called to the ministry. Sunday morning, he announced it. Monday morning, I was enrolled in seminary.
Get out of here.
Yes, you never heard that story.
No, I never heard that story. That's amazing. Now, how long did you go to seminary school?
I went to seminary school for 4 years. I received my bachelor's in theology, and the rest is history.
And you never looked back?
Never looked back.
So how long did you DJ?
I DJ'd for about. Let me give you the second part of the story. I've been clean and sober from alcohol and drugs and crime 34 years and 3 months. October the 22nd, 1990 was my sobriety date, and I had just beat a 30-year prison sentence. And I had a half a kilo of cocaine, a half a kilo of heroin, and 10 pounds of weed. And the judge sentenced me to 30 years in prison.
Wow. There was nobody but God.
4 months into that 30-year prison sentence, Lady Flint, I couldn't take it no more. I had just got out of prison a year before that, doing 2 years. And here I am a year later and got sentenced to 30 years. 4 months into that 30-year prison sentence, I took my sheets and I hung them up on the top bunk, and I slipped them around my neck, got them as tight as I can, because I was raised better than this, and now I'm sitting in prison with a life sentence. And all I had to do was roll to the left, and when everybody came out the rec yard, they would have saw me in the dormitory hanging. But all I can see on the YouTube screen of my eyelids was my mother and my grandparents saying, "Don't do that, you're going to hell." And I took those sheets off my neck. I jumped off that top bunk, put my tennis shoes on, went outside on the rec yard, and I said, "I got to man up and do this time." 7 months and 6 days later.
It's okay. I'm getting your t-shirt. It's okay.
I'm okay. 7 months and 6 days later, 2 officers came to my dormitory and they told me to pack it up. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to go to my permanent institution to finish these last 29 years.
Mm-hmm.
I get in the van, I'm shackled hand, waist, and feet. And when they wake me up, I'm at the Palm Beach County Courthouse. I get my bearings together and I ask the officer, "What are we doing here?" And these was his exact words: "Shut up, inmate. I don't know what you're doing here. They just told me to transport you." I'm hobbling up into the Palm Beach County Courthouse, and I got inside the courtroom, and there was my lawyer. 2 seconds later, the bailiff walked in and said, all rise, the Honorable Judge Bernard Johnson presiding. Judge Johnson was my judge for all 27 of my felonies. And he called me and my lawyer up to the bench. He called state attorney's office up to his bench, and he said these exact words. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is how the power of God will transform your life if you got a calling on your life. He says, state attorney's office, do you have any objections to the appeal that has been brought before us? Mm-hmm. And at that time, the lead prosecutor for the state attorney's office here in Palm Beach County was Barry Krishner. And Barry Krishner said these words, and I quote, "Your Honor, we have no objections to the appeal that has been brought for us, and by the power invested in me as lead prosecutor for the state attorney's office here in Palm Beach County, Division X, we therefore grant no objections to dismissal of this case."
Just like that.
Just like that. The Florida statute 65-97432 CFA, I'll never forget it, states if a police officer comes in an occupied dwelling looking for a specific person under a specific warrant, they cannot touch nobody else in that occupied dwelling. I thank God for the Florida statute.
Ooh.
The SWAT team kicked the door in on 39th and Broadway looking for my best friend on a violation of probation warrant. They had no business touching me. And Judge Johnson looked at me and he says, thank you, Attorney Krishner. Mr. Mays, I wasn't pastor then. He called me by my government name. He says, I sent you to prison a few years ago, and I told you not to come back in my courtroom for a traffic ticket. You get out of prison and you did the same thing you did 26 times prior. He said, but my mom always told me that there's a first time for everything. And I've never missed sentencing guidelines in a sentencing case. I'm not going to let you go scot-free, but I'm going to send you to a rehab. And I want you to go get your life together. Make your community proud. Make me as your judge proud. Make your family proud, but most of all, make yourself proud.
Yourself, yes.
And he says, don't ever come back in my courtroom.
And you didn't.
And I didn't.
What a mighty God we serve.
34 years and 3 months ago.
What a blessing. Now that is a serious testimony. You guys, you see that? If God did it for him, he could do it for you too.
Yes.
You know, no matter what you're going through. And I'm talking to myself as well. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Nobody but God. Mm-hmm. And you should be very, very proud of yourself. You should pat yourself on the back.
Who? Do the Jay-Z.
For real, because that's an amazing story. I have never heard you tell me that story before. That's amazing. So, after God delivered you from all of that, where did you go from there?
Well, let me. I gotta add this one more piece to it. Before I got delivered on October the 22nd, 1990. I've been stabbed 17 times. There's 2 of them right here. I've been shot 4 times. I've got a half a bullet in my arm right there. And I've accumulated 27 felonies.
You was out there.
Yeah.
You was out there.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff going on with.
Yeah.
You was out there, yeah.
And
you was big in what you was doing.
And I'm not supposed to be here.
Yes, you are.
I'm here by the divine grace of God.
There you go.
But those type of consequences should have allowed me to stop a long time ago. But there's a saying I tell my clients now that consequences don't keep you clean and sober. It's only pain that'll make you change.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's so true.
Yeah, and that 30-year prison sentence broke me. That one there.
That was your breaking point.
That was my breaking point. And when I got out of there, I got my life together.
And that's a blessing because, see, some people, like they call people repeat offenders, and they'll say, oh, that's all they know is jail, blah, blah, blah. But I always say, just keep praying for them. Like if they're on drugs, oh, that's all they do is drug. I say, well, pray the Lord take the taste out their mouth. You know, that's the kind of stuff I pray for. But I always say that it's up to the individual. But everybody's got a breaking point, I feel. I don't know. I've never lived that type of life, and I've never looked down on people that you know has done that. I just look at them. Hey, life is about choices, and if that's the choice they made, you know, because first of all, I'm too scared to be out there trying to do all that kind of stuff. You know, I'd rather be on the stage shaking somewhere. I'm just keeping it real.
Yes, sir.
You know, but you know, it's called life.
It's called life,
and life happens. So, you know, my point is never look down on anybody who is out there doing all sorts of things, because that's somebody's daddy, that's someone's mother, that's someone's daughter, that's someone's son. You know, never look down on people. And like I said, if God brought this man out of it, I don't know who I'm talking to or who needs to hear it, but he can surely bring you out as well. So, okay. So that was your breaking point.
That was my breaking
Where
point.
did you go then after that? After you had the stabbing and everything, was that before the...
That was before.
Before the turning point. And before you went into prison for the 30-something years. That's when that all transpired, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So after all of that happened, how did you get... You said you went to pastoral school and everything. So that is what was your main reason you wanted to go as well, because you had the breaking point and you knew God called you.
It was vice versa, because I tried to run from my calling.
And most of us do.
Yes.
Most of us do.
I've been clean this over 34 years. I've been in ministry only 25. So the first 8 years of being delivered from that 30-year prison sentence, I was DJing in the clubs. I was DJs at weddings, family reunions, parties, picnics. I was doing it all. And that day that the Lord called me the second time, Lady Flint, you wouldn't even believe all of that equipment I had in my house, I literally gave it away, because I couldn't run from it no more. And
God wore you down.
He wore me down. Wore me down.
Yes.
And I spent 4 years in seminary, and this is where I cry every time I say this. My first 4 years out of prison, I was literally lost, because I didn't know how to be a man. I didn't know how to balance a checkbook. I spent from 17 to 27 in the streets.
That's a long time.
10 long years.
To be in them streets.
17 to 27 in the streets. And for those 10 years, I was in college. I got turned out when I was in college. I went to the great Bethune-Cookman University, by the way.
The Wildcats.
And that's where my addiction and my alcoholism skyrocketed.
And you know what? I'm going to say this. I think, too, in college, when you have more free time and no one's watching you, and you're going to parties and stuff like that, I think that's where a lot of the drinking starts.
No accountability.
Because in school, because it's up to you if you're going to go to class. The professors are not going to come and get you out of bed and say, hey, you need to get in my class, because they're going to get paid regardless.
Yeah.
So with no accountability, I think a lot of these kids, they go to school, and that's where the drinking and the drugging starts. You know, some of it starts in high school.
Yeah.
You know, so
I was very fortunate that even after coming out of college and still being in the streets, probably about 6 more years after college, that last consequence is one that broke me. And
it should have.
It broke me.
Honestly. I mean, oh my God.
If anybody would have came near me with some alcohol and drugs, baby, it was going to be on and popping. Because alcohol and drugs robbed me of my identity. It robbed me of the purpose that God had for me.
Right.
I was destined to be a pastor anyway, although I didn't know it.
Of course not.
And I remember the first day I opened my church, 88 people showed up. 40 joined the first day.
Look at God.
So I knew it was destined that I was supposed to do this. And even in the ups and downs, I'm currently a owner of 2 transitional independent living facilities here in West Palm Beach. I've been doing it now.
And that was going to be my next question. How long have you been doing it?
26 years.
That's a long time.
That's a lot of men have crossed the threshold of my doors seeking help.
And all of them probably have different stories, but like the same common thing that I would think, you know.
And I don't just house men that are on drugs or got an alcohol problem. I have currently some guys right now in my facility that has never drank or never drugged, just got life issues. They got divorced and end up homeless. But it's been a blessing to watch these last 26 years. I've even had 3 women facilities.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I know you were talking about the men. I was just going to ask you, do you have a facility for women as well? Because you have a lot of domestic abuse out there and women that's, you know, been out there on drugs and stuff like that because life happens.
Yeah. So I'm actually in the midst of praying about it now. The 3 women facilities that I had, the reason I don't have them right now is because the woman that I had working for me, she relapsed and went back on drugs.
Oh no!
And I had to hire somebody, and I hired my new sister from my dad's side. I hired her, and she did well with it, but God told me my season was that was not my assignment. But I've been getting so many calls to open up, so I'm currently actually praying about it now.
Yeah, because there's just a lot of women out there who, and some of them have totally depended on their spouse, and maybe it didn't work out. They got a divorce, and you know, like I said, life happens, and they wound up homeless. Or whatever, you know, or got on drugs or whatever the situation. Because everybody has different, you know, different stories. They may all circle around drugs and alcohol. And then some of them, like you said, got a divorce, you know, totally dependent on the man or whatever. And, you know, it didn't work out. And then they had to start all over. You know, so, you know, people have lost their job or, you know, whatever the situation, you know, because it's hard out there. You know, it's not easy, you know, So where do you see yourself going with this journey with the men, housing the men? And I really think that let me just say this, I really think that they can relate to you because you have lived that life. You didn't just talking the talk, you lived the life. So you understand, you know, the relapsing and all this kind of stuff. So where do you see yourself? And is there a supervisor on site, or how do you run the house?
Good question, Lady FLINT.
Thank you.
All of my facilities have a live-in staff person, and I have a director of operation who oversees both houses. Where I see myself going is I am currently asking God to give me one big facility where I can house men and women. I had one.
Will you house them together or in the same big
different
house?
Floors?
Different floors?
Yes.
Okay.
I had one probably about 12 years ago in Lake Park. It was the perfect location, right? I don't know if you remember where Earl Stewart Toyota is. There was a hotel right there.
Oh, I never knew that.
And then the back of there was a 36-bedroom building that was a part of that hotel.
Oh.
Right on that property where Earl's, I had that. And it was such a blessing, but the overhead was so expensive. So I'm actually praying for God to give me something like that. It was 18 rooms on the top, 18 rooms on the bottom. And so that would be 36 clients that I can house, men on the top, women on the bottom, because there is a vast urgency for female housing.
I agree. And with those housings that you have, the houses that you have, how do you do that? Do they graduate out and then new people come in, or can they stay there? How long can they stay there? And do they have to have a job? What are your requirements in this in your facilities? If someone, because there's a need out there and people want to know how they get in.
Well, the first thing, I pulled my phone up because I wanted to show Lady Flint. These are all my facilities. So they can't tell me what they're not doing because I see it.
Right.
It is highly secured with security cameras.
That's a good thing.
And what was the question again? I forgot.
How do they stay there?
Okay,
do they graduate out and then other people come in? How can they seek help to get in if someone is looking to?
If someone was looking in, I'll make sure that Lady Flint puts the name and the number on the screen. We go through a verbal screening first.
Mm-hmm.
The second step is a physical screening because I need to know that what I heard matches what I see. Because a lot of people, they have a great audio, but I need to see the video.
Gotcha.
Once I do a verbal intake, I need to do a visual, physical intake, and they consider it as long. I have one guy been there over 10 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't see himself going out at all, or
I think he's one of those ones that's afraid to be on their own, and he needs that accountability. He's a great guy. I've had some of my guys, especially in the front house, been there over 5 years. I have a 80-year-old man that never had a drug or a drinking problem, but he got put out of Century Village for a lie someone told him that he hit him. They put him out. He's been with me 7 years.
Wow.
Has a well-to-do family, but I don't think he wants to be alone.
I can understand it.
Yeah, so every situation is different. Everybody, especially the crew that I got in both houses now, a lot of them are not substance abuse and alcoholism, and they're just, one of my ladies just got out from doing 24 years in prison. And he lives in one of my facilities. So every situation is different. My goal is to empower the believer, restore the lost through the preached word of God.
I love that. I love that. And what are your requirements as a person coming in, wanting to, because this is a state job, I'm pretty sure.
No.
It's not a state job. Is it private? It's private,
it's
right?
Private.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if a person is looking for a job, what are the requirements for them to live there, or just to come in and say, okay, I'm a staff member, blah, blah, blah? Mm-hmm. What was... After
the screening process, what I do is I get them in. Their requirements is 4 things. No drugs and alcohol, keep your area clean, pay your rent, and don't steal. If you can meet those 4 requirements, you can stay there long as what we do is we try to, based on the individual, find an exit plan for them. If we got to save some of their money for them so they can buy a car, then after they buy a car, they can have first and last security to get their own place. But that's only on how motivated they are.
Right.
I don't want people, although I've had people there stay a long time, and they can stay as long as they want to, as long as they're doing the right thing. But I don't take people just that need a bed. I need people that's motivated to change their life. If I can do it, so can you.
There it is. Mm-hmm. There it is. And if a staff, getting ready to close, But if someone was looking for a job to work there, what are your requirements for that person as well?
Currently, I don't have any openings, but periodically there are openings that come up. We just bought a bus for the facility.
Oh, good.
And for the church, so I do periodically have job opportunities. Lady Flint will give you my phone number, and you just check with me periodically.
Okay, last question. Real quick, wrap it up for me in 5 seconds or less. Tell me, where do you see yourself with your vision for these houses and what you're doing?
My vision is to continue to show the men, and hopefully soon the women, that there is a better life. One of my favorite quotes, Lady Flint, you can steal this and post this one tonight. You will repeat what you don't repair.
I love that.
My favorite quote. You
love
will
that.
repeat what you don't repair. And once you start repairing some of the luggage and some of the pain that causes you to be in a life changing situation, then my last quote is, you will start attracting what you want after you start believing what you deserve.
There it is, in a nutshell. I love that. Now, tell us all the platforms that you're on. Give us your phone number, your address, and where we can find you, including your church.
Okay.
Please.
The church is New Faith Christian Fellowship, 2100 West 45th Street, Suite A1, in the beautiful city of West Palm Beach. My phone number is 561-255-2585. Real easy number. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Pastor C.W. Mays. And our two locations are located at 1008 Palm Beach Lakes and 1015 11th Street. Once again, in the beautiful city of West Palm Beach. I'm also a singer. If you want to see us sing, we'll be at Royal Palm Amphitheater this Friday night from 7:30 to 9. And guess who's going to be singing with me? Yours truly. Let's see, I got so many gifts. Lady Flint will be with us. I just had to throw that plug in.
That's why I'm laughing, guys. Yes, we'll be in Royal Palm. We will be there. Yes, yes, yes. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Pastor C.W. Mays. Thank you again. I love you so much. Thank you. God bless you. So with that, we're going to say good night. May you all be blessed. Stay safe out there, kings and queens. Thank you, Mr. Allen. Thank you, Mr. Donald, for having such a beautiful show as this and all the other shows. I love you, Diaspora TV. Good night. Be blessed. Let's look at the camera. Good night. Bye.
Bye.